Hey, thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to talk about Hanukkah or Hanukkah, two issues with Hanukkah. Hanukkah, of course, is a celebration that is well known in association with Judaism. It's not actually an observance that's from the Torah. It's not one of the commanded celebrations in the written Torah. It is a later addition, a later tradition. And I'm bringing this up in advance of it so that we can mull it over in a different way. While we are out of the situation, while we're separate from the situation, I believe that we can think about it differently than a person would that's actively entangled with the concerns of that situation, a person that's in it. So while we're out of it, we can think about it in a different way. And I want to draw attention to the observances associated with Hanukkah and the origins of Hanukkah. So in reference to the observances, we're probably aware of the menorah and the lighting of it and all of those sorts of things, and I don't really intend to draw attention to that, but instead the associations that have been made since then. And we probably aren't doing this ourselves. We probably have observed this, though, where someone will use Hanukkah as an excuse to celebrate Christmas. That maybe they're not celebrating Christmas in the sense of having the tree and all of that, but that they're carrying over all of these observances, like having the big family get-together with the traditional meal and having all of the gift exchange and those sorts of things that are associated with Christmas, using Hanukkah as an excuse to do that, but just not calling it Christmas. And we may not be this bad, but we've probably seen this go on, or we've probably at least heard about it. And I want us to consider this because it's easy to look at these things in isolation or to look at them just in the short term. We might think of things like having a big family get-together. What could be wrong with that? Having a big traditional meal. What could be wrong with that? Or having a big gift exchange. What could be wrong with that? And we can think about all of the things that are going to be fulfilled through doing that. We can think about how that makes things easy in the short term, especially if there are people in our family that don't observe the Torah, and maybe they observe Christmas and they want us to participate, but they're kind of trying to compromise and make things more acceptable to us. And in the short term, in looking at things like that, it might be easy to kind of ignore some of the greater issues of it and just think, well, it's not really that big of a deal and we're not actually observing Christmas. But I want us to imagine a Torah society, imagining something that's just independent from what we're familiar with now. Using our knowledge of the Torah and of observance of the Torah, imagining what the society would be like that was just concerned with that. That was concerned with observing the Torah according to what it says and building their culture around that. In that society, would there be any reason to have concerns for these winter celebrations? Why would they have any interest in observing these sorts of things? I think the primary reason that this is of any relevance to any of us today is just because of the past. Just because of observances that are going on around us, maybe observances that we were involved in previous times. That if we're thinking about the future, if we're thinking about the Torah society and community that's concerned only with the written Torah, would there be any reason for them to care about it? And once again, this may be something that we don't see in our lifetime, but the fact is that we are still investing in it today. The things that we are doing, even if we think about them in the short term, they're likely to become habits. And those habits are likely to become traditions. Our family, and if we have children, our children are learning those things that we're doing. They're becoming habits and traditions. And the people that we are associated with that are interested in the Torah, they are learning from us as well, even if they don't think about it in that way. So I invite us to consider the future implications of what we're doing now. That it might be easy to think about the short-term effects and how that might fulfill what we want in the moment and what other people might want in the moment, but what about the long-term impact? And the other issue I want to draw attention to is the origins of Hanukkah. So if we think about it in the sense of the Feast of Dedication, even if we think about it in the most innocent sense, just completely separate from all of these other observances, it's the celebration of the rededication of the temple. If we are concerned with the written Torah, and if we are concerned with the holy place of the written Torah and believe in it, the commanded holy place, of course, being the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and if we believe that the blessing of observing the Torah, according to Leviticus 26:11, is the giving of the tabernacle in our midst, then is this really something that we would have any concern for? If we are concerned with the holy place, the commanded place for the rituals according to the written Torah, then that would be the tent of meeting, the tabernacle. So does this rededication of the temple, even if we think about it in that sense, have any real relevance to the written Torah? So I invite us to think about this and to think about the investment into the Torah society as we are moving forward. Thanks for watching, and remember the commands. Shalom.